coffee break, today's tidbit.
All right, it's time for our weekdays coffee break. Today's tidbit, and joining us in the studio, our honorary Yorkshire Angela Ayub.
Ayub.
Apparently, according to Kai, you have the best Ayub in all of Arirang.
Oh, thank you.
Of all the compliments you could receive in your life.
I'm good at a Yorkshire accent.
Of all the things you could be the best at in Arirang, the best Ayub.
It's not even the Yorkshire accent. I'm just good at two words. It's not even words. I'm good at enunciating something.
Ayub. What was going on? We have a lot of British listeners, I just want to say. And then we pick up a lot. But my British accent is terrible, as you know. What's our tidbit today, Angela?
Well, today's a special day for us all.
It is very special.
Happy 100 days. Yeah. Yay. Although I do have yet to share 100 tidbits with everyone.
That's true?
Yes, because I don't come out on the weekends.
You want to do weekends?
Yeah, so, I thought we could talk about, numbers, why 100 is such a significant number. So,
all right, that's cool stuff out there. All right, let's talk about the 100 days.
So, in Korea, the 100-day mark has long been seen as a moment worth celebrating, especially when it comes to newborns. So, it's called 백일잔치, or the 100-day celebration for a baby.
Yes,
Did you have one for your children?
So we didn't do anything special. We did a small 백일잔치, right? Because, it's just too much work. It really is. And especially because if you know the origins of it, you go, do we really have to do 백일잔치? But let's talk about the origins, why people actually do the 백일잔치 or the 100-day celebrations.
Well, it actually has deep roots in Korea's traditional customs. A long time ago, infant mortality was very high, so if a baby made it to 100 days, it was seen as surviving the most dangerous period. So families would throw a celebration to thank the gods and wish for continued health and longevity.
Yeah, so even still now, we always say that when you have a newborn, you have to be careful up until the 100 days because you just never know what's going to happen, right? And so after 100 days, a lot of things happen, a lot of milestones, by the way. It's also when babies finally do the long sleep. Oh. Because before that, you do every 2 hours they wake up and then stuff like that.
I also heard 100 has to do with it. That's the period it takes for mothers to actually recover.
Oh, really?
After childbirth, so it's also a celebration for the mother, and you can actually see it in the customs. So traditionally, the day starts with setting up a 삼신 table. So 삼신 is the god of childbirth and woman. So a small altar with seaweed soup and white rice is set up. The baby's mother or grandmother prays in front of it, asking the samshin for health and blessings. And as we all Koreans know, a seaweed soup is, the must for mothers who have just had a child.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For every day for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes.
That's all they do. It's supposed to be very good for cleansing all the bad stuff. And so this is all very symbolic.
Yes, and afterwards, the pigir table is decorated with colorful rice cakes, fruit, and white thread and rice. White thread, representing long life and fortune. And families also prepare pigir 떡, or they used to, 100-day rice cakes, and share them with neighbors.
Yeah, you don't see that as much anymore, but yes, most. I know, some Seong was actually very good at doing that. She'd always distribute the 백일 떡.
And I think our main writer said should we have 백일 떡? And she joked about it. And so it is a custom that is still around. And there's even a saying that the more people who eat the rice cakes you give out, the longer the baby will live. Because it's rice. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry guys. My kids. So I didn't give out any 백일떡s. But again, these are things that people believed in.
Yeah.
But do people still celebrate the 100 days and all that stuff?
So as we mentioned, it's more modest.
Yeah.
And some parents just take professional photos or have a quiet meal with a close family. But the meaning behind it is still very much alive.
So speaking of 백일잔치, the big one is the 돌잔치.
Yes.
Which is the 1-year celebration.
Exactly. So we did briefly discuss it on the Culture Inc. before, but when the baby turns 1-year-old, Koreans have a 돌잔치 or first birthday party. Historically, this was the true test for survival. If a baby reached 1 year, people believed they would likely live on, so it became a really huge celebration.
Yeah, so you might be going, come on, 1 year, but even my mom told me that I was supposed to have another aunt. She had a younger sister, a baby sister, and didn't make past the first year. And so this was something that was very normal. And she was saying that it was so normal back in the days, unfortunately, that my grandmother wasn't even that sad. Like she was sad, but not like oh my goodness, why is this happening? Like it was happening so much at the time.
That in itself is sad.
Yeah, but I've always wondered though. Why tor? Like rock?
No. Tol is the native Korean measure for a child's age.
Oh.
So you say 첫 돌. That means, first
year, like the
year.
rotation.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And of course, when we talk about 돌잔치, we can't leave out 돌잡이. During 돌잡이, different items are placed in front of the baby, like a pencil, a money, a stethoscope, or a microphone. Whichever one the baby grabs is believed to predict their future career. We also discussed this on the show before, I believe.
Did your parents ever tell you what you grabbed?
Yeah, so my mom told me. I asked my mom before the show, and she said I was quite greedy and eager. So I chose 3 things. I chose a pencil, a microphone, and a gavel.
Angela, that's kind of crazy.
Why?
Because isn't that your life right now?
Yeah, it is.
All 3 things.
I have yet to accomplish a gavel, but I'm hoping, I have my fingers crossed, so.
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, if you know what she's doing right now, that's all 3 that's going on. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
but like this, it's a fun moment for families and, a good photo op. And nowadays, some families even include modern items like a camera or, I don't know, coding book.
Coding book.
A lot of IT is big, AI is big, so yeah.
Okay. How is 100 seen across other cultures, though? Like, is it mostly unique to Korea, though?
Korea's 100-day celebration is pretty distinct, but interestingly, Japan has something similar called 오쿠이조메, and in China, there are also customs around the 100th day, but Korea's pig year and 돌잔치 are quite unique in terms of how formalized and, widely practiced they are still today, and it also has become more important than the 환갑잔치 these days.
환갑잔치, it's something also that less and less people are doing. Let's talk about 환갑.
So 환갑 is the 60th birthday celebration. In the past, this was also a big milestone because people didn't live that long. But with people living longer now, the 60th birthday isn't as symbolic anymore. And because of Korea's low birth rate, celebrating a baby's first year, like pig year or 돌, is seen as even more precious. So we can see how these celebrations and numbers are adjusting to modern times.
Yeah, 환갑's pretty cool too. Also, if you look into like the what is it? The animal, what is that called? Not the horoscope.
Oh, the...
D. What do you call D? All of a sudden,
my God, I suddenly can't remember. 60.
No, so like D, what's D in English? Like what your animal symbol is, right? And so like for 60 years, it makes a full-on rotation.
Yeah.
Because like each animal has like 5 different kinds of animals, right? So like my son was born basically when my mother-in-law was turning 60. And so they're both golden pigs.
Oh.
So that's the road here.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a little tidbit there. Anyways, 100 days, 백일잔치, we've been talking about this. But again, let's talk about why Koreans place so much emphasis on 100. Is it because, and also like, parents, why didn't you get 100 on your exam?
Yeah.
What is 95? What is 95? It's an ugly number. Why 100? Is it a survival thing?
Well, that's a big part of it, but there's also cultural symbolism. So 100 has long stood for wholeness and achievement in Korea. For instance, in the Tangun myth, Korea's founding myth, Unryo has to wait 100 days until she turns human.
No.
Yeah. So it shows how in traditional thought 100 means something is full or complete, and, which explains also why Koreans love getting 100 on test scores. Did you get 100? Did you make your parents proud?
No. And then if you do get 100, they go, how come you didn't get extra credit and get 110? stuff like that. That's Korean parents
like
for you.
Like a true Asian parent.
But also Koreans seem to like the number 3 a lot. And I noticed it shows up a lot in like Korean folklores, right? Like what's the story behind the number 3?
Well, so the number 3 symbolizes balance and completion. It represents the harmony of heaven, earth, and humans.
The triangle. The triangle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But also like in Chinese characters, 1 and 2 together is 3. And it's supposed to be like the ground and sky, and together it's like, harmony.
Okay.
And again, in the Tangun myth, Tangun descends from heaven with 3 divine objects and is accompanied by 3 ministers, wind, rain, and cloud. So we see it repeatedly in, folklore.
So like it's not just random storytelling, that actually has like deep cultural pattern.
Yeah, and it's also common to find, 3 trials, 3 siblings, 3 magical items in Korean folk tales. Even in games, we use 3 chances, like 삼세판. Or, best out of 3. Yeah, whenever you do rock, paper, scissors, it's never 1. It's always 삼세판. And shamans shout out 신봤다 3 times when finding wild ginseng to make it officially theirs. So, it's really deeply embedded in Korean culture.
Now, this I know. While 3 is a good number.
Yes.
4,
yes.
However, on the flip side, is a very unlucky number here in Korea.
Right. So 4 is generally avoided because it sounds like the Korean word for death, 사, in not only Korean but also Chinese and Japanese. That's why in hospitals or hotels you might notice there's no 4th floor, or it's labeled as F instead for 4. The aversion to 4 is really widespread across East Asia.
Yeah, just like in if you go to the US, sometimes like the building skips 13th floor.
Yeah.
Like the 13th floor is called 14th floor and stuff like that. Here is like F,
yes.
right? And so there's this whole numerology woven into culture and tradition.
Exactly. It's really embedded in how Koreans see milestones, balance, and life cycles.
What are some important numbers? I'm kind of curious because every culture I feel like has their significant number. Let's talk about other cultures.
Well, in China, 8 is considered extremely lucky because it sounds like fa, which means to make money. That's why the 2008 Beijing Olympics started at 8 p.m., 8 p.m., 8 minutes, 8 seconds on August 8th to triple the luck. It's very superstitious. But, numbers have that power over certain cultures.
That's why I think, I remember seeing this, the most expensive, I think it's on the Guinness Book of Records, the most expensive license plate number that was ever sold in China was number 8.
Yeah.
It was 8.
It's not surprising.
But what about the West?
So in the U.S., 7 is, widely seen as a lucky number. It has religious roots. After the creating the world in 6 days, God rested on the 7th, making it a holy day. That spiritual association turned 7 into a symbol of luck. And on the flip side, 6 and 13, as you mentioned, are both seen as unlucky. 6 is sometimes called the number of the devil.
666,
yes.
Right?
And 13 is linked to misfortune because, Jesus was crucified on the 13th day according to Christian belief. But guess what? It's a lucky number in Italy.
What's the story there?
So in Italy, 13 is a lucky number. It's actually tied to a national sports betting game where you need to correctly predict the outcome of 13 matches to win. That turned the number 13 into a symbol of good fortune there.
I mean, if you're gambling like that, they might go broke, and 13 might actually be a bad number. So luck really depends on where you are.
Yeah, and speaking of Italy, I thought this was fun. Their unlucky number is 17. So that's the reason behind that is when written in Roman numerals, 17 can be rearranged to form the Latin word vixi, which means I have lived. And that phrase is often found on tombstones. So the number came to be associated with death, like how Koreans see the number 4.
I mean, that's kind of stretching it, to be honest.
Why?
Because you're rearranging it, and there's other things that you could rearrange to make it into Vixie. But okay.
Yeah.
But this is a great deep dive, not just on the number 100, but other numbers in other cultures as well. All right, Angela. As one of our listeners, I forgot who it was, who said 100 days would not have been possible. Bruce says, you're a big part of King's success. We appreciate it, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Even though she wasn't on air for 100 days. We'll do her separate 100 days. I guess we'll do math. We just won't ask Ajon to do the counting. All right, Angela, thank you very much for your stories and your report today. Have a safe one, and we'll see you again.
See you tomorrow.
I hope you enjoyed that segment on the Culture Inc. If you want to hear more and other great segments on our show, you can tune into Arirang Radio every day from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Korea Standard Time.